Hey guys, welcome back. It's Chad, founder of Easy Pool Academy. Let's talk a little bit about lights. Now, in just a second, we're going to go over some of the different lights in the business and, some of the key points and the bottom line on these lights so that you can decide which one will work the best for you. But here's a few things I want to tell you just in general about the lights themselves. Is I have noticed people asking me questions a lot of time, customers asking me questions, is sometimes they believe that this light is going to be an alternative to having lights around the pool so that you can see and walk around. And I need you to know that's not the case. With swimming pool lights, the lights underneath the water, it doesn't necessarily light up the landscape. It makes the water in the pool glow. It gives light inside the pool and glow. And yes, it gives some outside light, but it's not going to compensate for having lights on your deck or having lights around the pool so that you can see when you're walking around. So I really just want to kind of tell you that from the start, because a lot of times customers, I can see they think that lights may offer that for them, and they don't. They really are to glow the pool, to set a party scene, to have it more fun at night. That's what the lights are for. So there's some lights in this business that I want to go over with you. A light is not a necessity. You don't have to have it. It's strictly a personal preference thing. You set your swimming experience up the way that you want to set it up. But one thing I've noticed with lights is there really is some right and wrongs to lights, and there's some stuff that you need to know. For instance, you don't want to get a huge pool and then buy a tiny little light and it barely light the pool up. You want to do it the right way if you're going to invest your money into it. And we're going to try to give you the knowledge here so that you can make a legitimate, knowledgeable decision about what light's going to be best for you. So let's start going over some of the lights we got here in the above ground business. Our first light here is going to be an overhanging light. These basically just hang over the wall of the pool. They dip down about a foot and a half into the water, and you plug them in, they light up, and you're good to go. The overhanging lights, number one key point is they're the most inexpensive lights that are out there. I've seen them at the time of this video as low as maybe $50 up to maybe $100. So it's a pretty inexpensive way to light the pool if you're working on a budget. They can be installed anywhere around the pool. That's one nice thing about them. You put them wherever you want to put them. They're not tied to anything. They can be installed at any time, which means if you're thinking, I don't know if I want a light or not, then go ahead and put your pool up. You can always come back and put one of these lights in at any time. They're pretty simple to install, and you can do it once the pool is installed, once the pool's full of water. That's no big deal. Now, they're usually low wattage lights. They've changed some stuff up recently on them. We're getting a little more wattage out of them. But for the most part, they're usually lower wattage lights, which means what? It means they're not pumping out as much light as some of the higher wattage lights. Now, keep in mind that it's going to have a 20 to 25 foot cord, and that's got to be plugged in somewhere. Even though the benefit is you can put them anywhere around the pool you want, you've also got to plug them in. And most of the time, your power is by your filter system. So most of the time, people put them within 20, 25 feet away from their filter system so they can reach their power that's at the filter system. If that's the only power you have, then you got to keep that in mind as well. If you have other power, on your deck or you're going to, put some power on your deck or however you're going to do it, just keep in mind you got to plug these things in. They got about a 20, 25 foot cord. Here's the bottom line on overhanging lights. They're really good for smaller pools. They're low wattage. So if you're going to put them on a bigger pool, you're going to end up having to get a couple of these, one or two or three of them. And then once you do that, you spend enough money, you could have just got one really good light to light the whole pool up. So if you're going with a smaller pool, these lights are really going to work well for you. So our next type of light we have in the business here is what we call cut-in lights. Now, what we mean by cut-in lights is you actually, when you install the pool, they come with a drill type bit where you actually cut a hole in the side of the wall of the pool and then install the light. Now, the key points on these lights is they're going to be a little more expensive. You know, they're going to run more than the overhanging lights, basically. Now, it's nice because they can be installed anywhere. And this is where we say you cut a hole in the wall to install it. So you can really install this anywhere on the pool you want, just like the overhanging lights. However, they really must be installed when the pool is installed. So if you're wanting to go with one of these lights, you want to go ahead and get it before you install your pool, because you know you don't want to come back and drain half your pool out, pull your liner back, put a light in, and put it all back together again. That's what you would have to do. So if you're going to get one of these lights, you want to get it and have it ready for the installers when they install your pool. They're usually medium to high wattage lights, which means they're going to throw out a little bit more light, so they're really better for of course, the smaller pools, they'll be fine, but even medium or bigger pools, they're going to work well for you as well. You got to keep in mind when you're looking for lights, the bigger pool you have, the more wattage you're going to need. And that really is a key, or else you're going to buy a light that's got low wattage and it's not going to light the pool and you're going to have wasted your money. Now keep in mind, these are also going to have a 20 to 25 foot cord that you're going to have to plug in. Although you can put it wherever you want, you also got to put it within 20 to 25 feet of power, or else run some power out there. So the bottom line for these is they're really good for any pool. Any pool you want to go with, just keep in mind the bigger a pool, go for higher wattage. And then our last light is going to be what we call return lights. Now what a return light is we shared with you on we just shared with cutting a light in, you actually have to punch a hole. Well, there's when you buy your pool and you roll that wall out to install it, there's already 2 holes in the pool. One is a square rectangle hole for your skimmer, and then one's a round hole for your return, where water goes into your filter system and comes back out. A return light goes into your return hole. So what does that allow you to do? It keeps you from having to cut a hole in the side of the pool. You get to use the existing hole that's in there, the hole that's already been rust protected, it's already been galvanized and protected. So those are good things. The key points on these lights is they're going to be a little more expensive than the hanging lights. You know, they're really going to run you probably about the same as maybe a cut-in light. Oh, so let me say this. These lights are really serving 2 purposes. They're a light, but they're also a return where the water comes back in the pool. So keep this in mind, that these lights are really serving 2 purposes. Now, what I like about these lights is the bulb itself is molded into a section so that water can go around it. So out of all the lights that I've seen out there, these bulbs usually tend to last the longest, which is a positive thing. So we said they're a little more expensive. They're going to be a little more expensive than the overhanging lights, or right around the same price point as maybe the cut-in lights. Now they must be installed in the pool's return, which means you can't put this wherever you want to put it. It has to go in your pool return, because it's going to be a light and your return. It's going to play both of those cards. It's best to install it when the pool is installed. Now these lights are usually, again, just like the cut-in lights, medium to high wattage. So they're good for small pools, medium pools, or even the biggest pools. These as well are going to have a 20 to 25 foot cord that you're going to have to plug in. Now, this light's also going in your return, so it's going to be right next to your filter system, where you're probably already going to have power. The bottom line is on these lights is they're really good for any pool. You know, I wanted to show you the 3 different types of lights, give you some education on it, and then you really kind of decide what you want to do, what you feel comfortable with, and what light will work for you. The best thing I can add to you is to remind you again, the bigger pool you go, the more wattage out of a light you're going to need. So keep that in mind when you're searching for the lights that you want. This is one of our awesome videos in our completely free series, the Essential Above Ground Pool Buyer's Guide video series. We're not selling you anything in this series. We're not telling you what to buy. What we're doing is we're giving you the information you need to make an educated decision on what's going to work best for your situation. It's 20 free videos. You can get instant access right now. Click the link here on the screen or down in the description. It's going to take you to the video series. I know it's going to be a huge help for you, and I'll see you guys there.